No, I'm not that fast. Okay, highway saving extrication. This is chapter 40. There we go. Emergency operations. This is going to show you a lot of stuff, basically what the fire department does. We're not the fire department. Just kind of like I showed you guys the other day. You're going to see a lot of what they do. Most time, first responders is going to be us. We're the ones who show up. You're going to have limited access to the highways. Only primary or first due responders should proceed directly to the scene. Right? On-scene units park single file in same direction to minimize on-scene congestion. When you first get there, you're parking, like say in the medium, you park on the left side of the lane. They go off into the ditch. Park on the right side as far as you can. Be careful when you get out. Them idiots don't slow down for anything. They don't care if you got your flashlights nighttime, daytime. I've seen police officers throw their big mag lights through somebody's window because them almost hitting us. 2 years ago, we had one of our coworkers get killed because some guy was doing like 70, 80 miles an hour on an accident scene, and instead of slowing down when the traffic did, there was a big gap in the middle because everybody had stopped and just had a natural gap down the center, and he went straight down the center and didn't stop. And then when he come up and saw the police cars blocking traffic and everything, he tried to slam on the brakes, and it was a little bit slick and icy, and he went off the side of the road, and she was well off the side of the road. She didn't have a road guard vest on, but again, no really need for it because they were way down the ditch. It was on I-65 south. So you know what has anybody been down that way, going towards Mobile? So you guys know what I'm talking about. It's really wide. She was like in the middle of the ditch where the water collects, and she was walking back up to get something from the truck, which was in the grass, off the highway, everything. Bam, hit her, killed her, had to call more people to the scene just because some idiot doesn't know how to slow down. Okay, position and blocking apparatuses. This is going to be mostly the fire department. You're going to get there first. The biggest thing to do is keep people calm, because you can't really go in there and risk your life or the lives of other people. And then there's going to be people there. What are you waiting for? Why aren't you doing something? You can't risk your life because who's going to take care of the person that's injured? If you get hurt, now you got 2 people that are injured or more, depending on who all is injured in the scene. Create 1.5 to 2 lanes of blockage. That's if when the fire department shows up. You let them guys do it. They got the bigger engines, the police department, everything. Okay. Position apparatus at angle, front wheels rotated away from accident. Of course, just like how they tell you when you park on a hill, you turn your wheels to the angle, so if you start to roll or whatever, you go up on the curb. You don't want to go away from the curb in the traffic. Well, common sense. You're parking your vehicle, you don't park your wheels towards you. If it hits you, it's going to go into the accident, right? You turn your wheels. If they hit you, they can go on into traffic the other way. I'd rather, if the cause is another accident, it's fine. They got a car protecting them, rather hitting a bunch of people on scene helping you out, cause damage that way. Other apparatus positions, or position other apparatus. Okay, leave space immediately next to the crash for a vehicle. So I can't see over here. Immediately next to crash for vehicle extraction units. That's going to be the fire department coming up. We always like to park up ahead anyway, just a little bit ahead of the site. So like, say like, here's the crash site, right? We park like right up here. That's the best spot to park, okay? Because immediately coming right after you, it's going to be the fire department. They're going to need to get out their cribbing, which is just basically wooden blocks. What do you call those poles? there you go, stabilization poles. Like a lot of times we go on their sides, and some of the guys, they kind of push up against it and they put those poles in the ground and they kind of do this like little wrenching deal, and yeah. And that's very important because you don't want that car rolling back on you. Because you're going to have to go in there, assess the patient once they get it stabilized, and see if they need to cut the doors out, cut the roof off, whatever, how you're going to get that patient out. Position ambulance, command vehicles, and other units downstream from the crash. Allow safer patient loading and rapid departure from scene. Again, like I was saying, like, you know how we like to park up front, that way you don't have to weave out of everybody. Also, it's easier for the police officers too. They'll block the entire road and let you out. Vests. Exit the vehicle into the safe zone. Be careful. I don't know how many times I've almost been hit going out my side, the passenger side. You gotta be careful. Sometimes, and my big butt can do it. Everybody in here can do it too. That little space you got between the two seats, I fit through there, so I know y'all can fit through there. Sometimes you gotta do it. So keep that area clear. Yes, I fit through there. What's that? And be alert for oncoming traffic. Place flares and cones to slow traffic and direct away from incident lane. This is mostly going to be like the fire department and the police, their job. We have a few cones and triangles that, you know, the ambulance is used for them, or rather for us. If you have to, like if you're out county medic or whatever, and there's like, it's going to be a while before somebody gets to you, of course do that, but mainly that's for the police and the fire department to do. Night operations, shut off vehicles while responding, lights and headlights. Don't shut off your lights. Keep them suckers on. What?
Every call that we had when I was on the ambulance, the fire department was there every time before we were. And some of them were like, you know, I had this cardiac arrest and it was a fall, so why do they call the fire department something like that? If it, you know, if the ambulance is already on their way, why do they call the fire
First responders.
If it's within a city jurisdiction, usually the police and fire have to respond to everything by law.
Yeah, they're first responders because they have more stations around than, who'd you go with, ETS?
The one at Opelika, every single call.
Yeah, ETS has one, ETS has one station, where the fire department has like, what, 3 or 4?
Yeah.
So they're able to respond a lot faster, a lot closer. They can start CPR until you get there. Plus, I think they have paramedics, they have what they call rescue trucks.
Mm-hmm.
So they can, not only can they start CPR, they can put them on a 12-lead, do IVs. Yeah. We leave our lights on. Think about it. Is it safe to enter the highway scene? Basically, this is just talking about using common sense. Which units are necessary? Vehicle extraction. You get to help with this. We don't get to do none of the fun toys. That's the fire department's job right there. 10 phases of extraction. Phase number 1, preparing for the rescue. Phase number 2, sizing up the situation. 3 is recognizing and managing hazards. 4, stabilizing vehicle prior to entry. 5 is gain access to the patient. 6, providing primary patient assessment and rapid trauma exam. 7, disentangling patient. 8, mobilizing and extracting the patient from the vehicle. 9, providing assessment care and transport. And 10, terminating the rescue. So as it stands, the first part of that would be the fire department. Their job is to make sure that vehicle's safe for you. Then you go in, manage the patient, you tell them how you need to get this patient out safely. And they'll say, okay, we're cutting away this door, we're cutting away the roof, whatever we need to do so you can do your job. So then you're in there, you're assessing, you mobilize the patient the best you can. They'll bring you a blanket, a cloth, whatever you need to cover that patient and yourself up. Because just a lot of times you'll be in there with them while they're doing all this cutting to keep them calm and everything. And continue to do your work, hold pressure if they're bleeding, continue to do your IV, whatever you need. Okay, of course the reflective vest, that's our safety gear for when we're doing this. What does seeing size up tell me about the need for extraction? If the car banged up looking like this, what do you think? Yeah, and you're going to need extraction, right? If they're upside down, you're going to need extraction. Front end damage really bad, more than likely. Especially, you know, today's cars, they're designed, the front end crumples, the engine compartment drops, supposedly. So what happens a lot of the older, like early 90s to 80 models, the dashboard and everything, the engine would push it up into the driveway. So if you come in on a older model vehicle, you get a lot of pins that way. And these newer model vehicles, they just tear apart. Okay, helmets, eye protection, hand protection, body protection. Well, we are to wear boots. We don't really carry helmets. Who works for ETS in here? I know somebody does. No, wait, you're not. This is a basic class. I don't think ETS carries helmets either. Goggles, gloves, hearing protection. We'll have all that. Everything else, though, is going to be the fire department. Who works for a fire department? Volunteer fire department, just one? Okay. Well, they'll have all that stuff. So stay out of their way. Let them do all that good fun stuff. You can always volunteer for a fire department to do fun stuff. Managing traffic, flares, avoid fuel spills, don't wave flares, 10 feet intervals. If you're going to be out at night, the flare goes on the ground, the flashlight goes in your hand, okay? Put the flare down, use your flashlight. They can see this, they can see this, okay? Don't be that guy that does this. Okay? Or does this thing. Just all you gotta do is wave them, tell them, you know, come on. I'd rather you just do this and this. Because for some reason, it's like people and laws are the same. They go to the light. They really do. Just kind of off to the side, okay? This is supposed to be the international sign for slow down. Some people don't get it still. Okay, supplemental restraint system, airbags. Airbags are designated to inflate on impact, despite kinetic energy, minimize trauma to the body. Dissipate. Just because you get hit with a front end collision, or especially if you get hit on the side or in the rear, that bag's not always going to go off. And if they're pinned or they can't get out right away, just keep them calm. Don't try to get them out or struggle with them. Let the fire department come, let them get that hood open, and let them cut the cables or take the battery out. Because you start trying to move them around and prod on that steering wheel or whatever, that emergency airbag, I've seen them go off when somebody's in there. Luckily, when it went off with us, you know, it just kind of knocked them back a little. And I think he was using the crowbar, and it just kind of come back like this on them. Nothing happened. But you never know. I mean, if it had been turned around the other way, that could have been nasty. or if he was like doing something that could have come into the patient or something. Luckily, the patient was back, and it just scared the crap out of her. And like I said, just knocked him back. But those do go off if you mess with them. So you want to be very careful. And now, you know, you got side bags all around the driver's side of the doors, and even in some of the back seats of the vehicle, they have them on the back side too.
Yeah, my daughter, she's got like 10 airbags in her car.
Mine has it on the
Yeah.
sides of headrests and
Yeah.
one
Yeah, you got
above
curtains,
my
right?
seatbelt thingy.
Cole's got them all over her car.
And even in the seatbelts too, I think. Some have
Mine
seatbelt
don't have
ones.
any seatbelt. It's above on the side, that little panel between my front window and my back window. That thing has an airbag.
So
in
just
it.
be careful if they're entrapped, you know, before you start cutting and slashing and trying to yank, let them get that battery, disconnect that battery. Create smoke in the vehicle, cornstarch and talcum powder, and sometimes sodium hydroxide. A lot of times they'll complain about their eyes burning or difficulty breathing, and it does create burns when it hits them, like a really bad carpet burn on their arms, their face. It saves them from the bad, hold on, brain fart. It saves them from the bad boo-boo, but it does create a bunch of little points, okay? Broken noses, really bad black eyes. I've even had some where they've been holding their hands up, they'll come out and break their thumb. Senior citizens, you'll cause some really bad skin tears. So you might have to take them if they have asthma, give them a breathing treatment, you know, clean them up. And it's always good to encourage them to go to the hospital because the next day they're going to be sore. You know, let them get checked out, get some of that pain medicine. Oh, and my favorite, electrical hazards. High voltage lines common. Assume entire area around exposed to wire is dangerous. Conductors may have touched and energized. Ordinary protective clothing gives no protection against electrocution. If you see a live wire, just tell them they got to stay inside. Don't go near it at all. I don't like electricity. I've been bit twice by lightning, and I don't like it. If there's a thunderstorm, believe me, I can run. You will see me move.
Police are chasing you?
What's that?
Like police are chasing
Oh,
you?
faster than that.
That's pretty fast.
I can move fast as my partner does when he sees spiders. Yeah, you see one of those. Just assume that it's live until the guy that says Alabama Power and the little white hat shows up and said it's a dead wire and he moves it. Make him move it still. I don't know what's that show. Dangerous Jobs or something like that comes on TV. They're showing this one guy, he come out and supposedly cut the power and he grabs the wire. It wasn't flopping or nothing, but he grabbed the wire and it shocked the you know what out of him. And that was supposed to be his job and he didn't do it right, so.
Well, you make a good point, you know, they can be live and look dead.
And look dead.
You don't have a clue that they're alive until you do that.
And we don't carry nothing on, you know, to combat that whatsoever. Does the fire department? Yeah, well, it's not gonna be me. Don't let it be you.
I think we had a house fire one day. Line dead. He's like, I'm gonna remove it. I said, really? We walk back to the truck, got a pipe hole, I was getting SCBA on, I'm about to go in. I look over, he screams up, and he goes that way.
See, all right, vehicle fires, small fires, 15 to 20 pound class, ABC dry chemical fire extinguishers, almost anything burning. We carry those. You can grab yours, you know, shoot it out real quick, bust that window out, you know, try to help them get them out. Life over them. You know, I'm sure they'll, if they're going to be crippled the rest of their life because you pulled them out instead of burning up, I'm sure they'd rather have that. Says right here, do not attempt to extinguish it unless the hood is fully open. If you're brave enough to open that hood, go right ahead. These cars will go up in seconds. We got called out to a stranded person on the highway about exit 32, it's the Franklin exit. We get out there, the state trooper meet us there. She was just waving us on. As soon as we got there, it was fully engulfed. We were there within like 4 minutes. It was already fully engulfed. You could see the valve covers already melted. Tires were gone. Everything. I mean, the guy was fine. He was having some engine problems, but they call us out just, you know, in case luckily he got out just fine. But they go quick. So get them out as fast as you can. Once they decide to go and hit them fuel lines, they go quick. Still on vehicle fires. Fire in the passenger compartment. Apply fire extinguisher sparingly until occupants can be freed. Fire in the trunk. Apply same principle as the engine compartment fire. Vehicle on wheels. Turn off engine. Step locks on 3 sides. That's what we were talking about before, the stabilizing holes for the vehicle for overturn. Vehicle on the road, they use 4x4 wooden blocks they call cribbing box. Gaining access, simple access. Check the door or windows can be opened. Try before you pry. One time it came up, it didn't look pretty mad, and they was like, "You want us to get the jaws alive? You want us to get the jaws alive?" My partner said, "You checked the door yet?" Yeah, and you open the door. They do get a little excited, so try checking the doors first. Goes from being able just to replace the door to having to replace the whole car because they ripped it open. Complex access, utilize tools and equipment, break glass inside or rear window as far from passengers as possible. You don't ever break it right next to them unless you have to. Like I said, if it's so bad that we're having to take, you know, the whole top off the vehicle, that's, you know, when you get the heavy canvas blanket, you cover them, then they'll break it as gently as they can. A lot of times you got duct tape, medical duct tape, the white duct tape. You can put it on the window next to them and then break it, and that'll keep most of it together, lay it out, the rest you can just break. And they got some kind of weird hook tool they stick in there, and they pull it all around the windshield, and they pull the whole windshield out, front and back like that. And then they can just cut the posts and just rip it off. Disentanglement. Okay, gain access by the posting of the doors and the roof. That's where the cutters and the jaws of life come in handy. Makes access interior accessible. Creates large exit ways. Provides fresh air and helps control heated patients. Disentangling occupants by displacing front end. Easily accomplished with heavy-duty jacks and hacksaw. Do not cut steering column or airbag wiring. May cause unexpected firing. I've seen them do that where they've gone in like through the passenger side. They'll put cribbing in there, and they'll put like the hydraulic jacks, and they'll jack the whole front end of it up until they can get the person's leg out. Chapter review. Really quick. Any questions? Highway operations are a risky, high-risk scene. Scene size up is a key to determining how many patients, of course. Interstate, when you're making rescues on the interstate, it's hard to get the troopers to shut down the interstate for a helicopter. It really is. They don't like to shut down that interstate. Trying to be political. You got to pick and choose your battles, basically, and hopefully a fire captain or chief that will back you up. There you go. Protect yourself from traffic, undeployed airbags, loaded bumpers, and sharp metal. Ensure scene safety. Everything revolves around scene safety. Scene safety, scene safety. Try simple means to gain access first. Always try the doors first. And believe it or not, it doesn't take much strength to pull that door open and I mean, extend it out a little farther. I know I'm a pretty good sized guy, but two of you together can just take that door and bend it all the way back. And that, you know, you'll gain that whole access. Protect your patient during the extraction process. Remember, highway response is a significant safety hazard. Specific safety planning and procedures must be utilized to keep responders safe. Responding units should evaluate need for further units. Institute blocking to protect work area, exit apparatus into safe zone. The best thing for that is, like remember I was telling you, and I showed you on here, you park just ahead of the scene, okay? Then you let the firemen come in and block traffic for you. It's, somebody comes up and hits the back of that big old rig, they're not going to do hardly anything to it. That way when you extract, you'll extract them up at an angle, and you know you'll have easy access for you and the patient, and then you'll be at the front and you can just take off. No problem. Let the police and everything block traffic in that whole lane for you. And if not, well then you know you at least got one free clear lane, right? And that engine's in the way. And when you show up, the best thing to do, some people get there, they kind of get panicky or whatever. Go down and check your scene out first. Take your radio with you. Don't just like see 2 cars and start screaming, I need 4 units, I need 4 units. Go down and see who's hurt. A lot of times, you know, you'll go to a wreck and you'll be like, holy cow, he's really going to go to the hospital. You know, this guy just flipped his car 4 times. And he had that seatbelt on, the airbags deployed, and he ain't not even a scratch. He's like, nope, I don't want to go to the hospital, I'm fine. And then you'll see someone who just got rear-ended, you know, oh my back, oh my neck. You'll have the whole extraction team out there. Yeah. That's when you backboard and do the whole 9 yards. They use protective equipment and wearing devices. Vehicle extraction often requires stabilizing training and specialized training resources, no local resources, and procedures for activating those resources. That's easy. You just get on the horn and tell dispatch to call out fire. But usually they've already done that, especially on accidents. Determine extraction resources needed and patient extraction priority through scene size up. I guess that'd be like if you need a helicopter. You know, like if it's taking too long, or her leg's caught and then like it comes out and then you have an arterial bleed or something. You always have a helicopter on standby. Don't be afraid to put them on standby. Extraction can pose a variety of threats. Evaluate the scene carefully and employ safety procedures. Sometimes, you know, we have them steep embankments. You might have to get them to get one of them, baskets and just haul them up with the rope. Always start simple and escalate, only when simple measures fail. Gain access to patient frequently requires mechanical and technological, assistance. Questions to consider: what is the best access for my unit? Where should I park the apparatus? Does the vehicle need to be stabilized? Critical thinking: the highway crash you are dispatched to is a 7-car pileup. Your unit is first on scene. What steps are required that are different from those for a crash involving one car striking a tree?
Need more help.
Triage. You're the first on scene, so you're going to be the scene commander, right? And you're probably going to have a lot of people start wanting to stop and help and everything, right? So you're going to have to sure everybody starts have somebody assigned, tell them to start parking in a single file, have one guy direct traffic until the police show up, how your partner would start going down to triage, and see how many units you need. If you need light flight, you definitely know you're going to have the fire department there to help with traffic release, right? And that depends if you're in the middle of the highway, if you're in the highway. Whew. I don't think you have to worry about traffic control.